Welcome to AYATIUM. What if time isn't merely a linear progression, a river you passively float in, but rather a complex, multi-dimensional landscape you actively navigate and shape through your choices and perceptions? This model invites us to reconsider our fundamental understanding of time. The Time-Scape Model proposes a comprehensive framework by stacking three distinct yet interconnected layers. First, the foundational physical space-time, which governs the objective reality of events. Second, psychological time, representing our subjective experience and interpretation of these events. And finally, an action layer, where our choices and responsibilities come into play, influencing the unfolding of our personal timeline. Within the physical layer, light cones serve as crucial markers, delineating the absolute causal limits of our existence. They precisely define what events from the past can physically affect you in the present, and conversely, what actions you can take now that will causally influence future events. These cones represent the fundamental boundaries of cause and effect in the universe. It is crucial to understand that this Time-Scape model is presented as a conceptual framework, a tool for understanding, rather than an unchallengeable dogma. However, it effectively clarifies the fundamental constraints and inherent properties that any coherent and comprehensive story of time, whether scientific or philosophical, must inherently respect and account for. Moving to the psychological layer, our brain actively constructs our experience of reality by stitching together sensory information and cognitive processes within a very brief, dynamic window known as the specious present. This short temporal span is where our immediate consciousness resides, allowing us to perceive a continuous flow of events rather than discrete, isolated moments. Within this specious present, our cognitive functions are constantly at work. Memory actively looks back, drawing upon past experiences to inform the present. Prediction actively looks forward, anticipating future events and outcomes. And a fascinating phenomenon called post-diction demonstrates how our perception of an event can actually be updated and refined after the event has physically occurred, showing the brain's continuous effort to construct a coherent narrative. In the rich tradition of Islamic discourse, the term qalb refers to the heart, understood not just as a physical organ, but as the spiritual and intellectual center of attention and orientation. Here, we use qalb as a powerful metaphor to illustrate how our internal orientation, our deepest intentions and perspectives, profoundly colors and shapes the very windows through which we perceive and interpret both our past memories and our future predictions, influencing our entire subjective experience of time. The action layer emphasizes that meaningful action is fundamentally about narrowing down the vast array of potential futures with clear intention, known as niyyah in Islamic thought. Furthermore, it involves taking full ownership of the outcomes that result from these choices, a concept referred to as kasb. These two principles are central to human agency and moral responsibility within the timescape. As events unfold and cross the threshold into the fixed past, the inherent uncertainty surrounding them dramatically shrinks, becoming a definitive part of the historical record. Each choice we make effectively selects one specific path from a multitude of possibilities, and once that path is chosen and traversed, it solidifies, becoming an unchangeable element of our personal and collective history. From a classical Islamic perspective, God's knowledge is understood as being entirely beyond the constraints of temporal change, existing in an eternal and unchanging state. Within this divine framework, creation itself unfolds in an ordered and purposeful manner within the boundaries of time, reflecting a meticulously designed and governed universe. The concept of qadar in Islamic theology refers to the measured decree or divine ordination of all things. It is crucial to clarify that this is not a claim about multiple physical worlds or a specific scientific assertion. Rather, it represents a profound knowledge frame that exists beyond the scope of our conventional temporal map, encompassing a divine plan that transcends human understanding and perception. Therefore, the Time-Scape model effectively brings together the profound concepts of divine foreknowledge and human responsibility. It posits that divine knowledge, represented by qadar, exists beyond the confines of time, while human choices and actions, guided by niyyah and kasb, are made and unfold entirely within the temporal dimension, creating a harmonious understanding of destiny and free will. At the most fundamental level, the physical constraints of spacetime, including the immutable laws of physics and the boundaries set by light cones, inherently bound the realm of what is possible. These physical realities establish the foundational limits within which all events, actions, and experiences must necessarily occur. Overlaying this physical reality are psychological windows of memory and prediction, along with the dynamic specious present, are what make the continuous flow of time feel so real and immediate to our subjective experience. These cognitive processes actively construct our perception of time, giving it a sense of continuity and personal relevance. Ultimately, our agency, driven by intention, allows us to select a specific route from the myriad of potential futures. Once chosen and acted upon, that route irrevocably becomes part of our fixed past, and the responsibility for the outcomes of that choice firmly sticks with us, shaping our character and consequences. Considering these interconnected layers, the physical, psychological, and action-oriented, how would you consciously and deliberately draw your very next step on the intricate and evolving landscape of your personal timescape? Reflect on the interplay of these forces as you move forward. Thanks for your watching, and see you next time.